pieces and setting up the .cred store. All these interesting things to be understood. And it's always a lot easier to it's always a lot.
Now transitioning to a live stream. If you hear silence at the end of the stream, please refresh this page.
Really go too well on the actual older iPhone, but it's going swimmingly well, as it would seem, on the computer, which I would take a screenshot. So we're in a private room with permission. I got a dear friend and then former colleague, probably going to be a present day colleague at this point, Jim Cudahy, and we're walking through Clubhouse. He just got invited by yours truly, Nigel, right? So, and we're going to go through the platform, and at the same time, we're going to be streaming using the Attention Live platform to Alexa, and which it just went off, and also to YouTube. So that should be pretty interesting. All right, so Jim, you ready? You ready to go through the your tutorial? So
I am, Nigel.
All right, cool. Okay, so first things first, let's go down and let's talk about the little party popper hat that you have in your lower left-hand side of your JC icon. Little party symbol. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what that means is that you're new to Clubhouse. So everybody who sees that knows you're new. You have been here less than 7 days. And after 7 days, that will go away. So that's one. The next thing you'll notice is the little green asterisk next to your name. You see that?
See it.
Okay, that means you are a moderator, or as the folks in Clubhouse have come to call it, the green bean. Now that's the terminology for that, the green bean. So there's been a lot of iteration since I've been here, since late November, early December, about the whole green bean and folks. Sometimes, I mean, the platform has been amazing. Let me just start with that. I'm thrilled with the platform. I feel like it has the right culture in general, and there's a lot of opportunities to learn and be in spaces with rooms with people that are highly accomplished, highly intelligent, highly generous in terms of time and their knowledge. So I can't say enough about the culture that's here. Attending the Lion King performances, as I had mentioned previously, pretty phenomenal. That being said, like every other community and like our world at large, there are other elements, and there's something for everybody, right? So one of the things that have come up, and this is, like in the moderator culture, I mean, I think that the founders who do a weekly town hall every Sunday at 12 noon Eastern, which I encourage you to attend, where they themselves take questions that were sent in from the audience, and they themselves actually answer the questions live and direct. Pretty awesome. I think it's a fabulous thing that they do. And then also, I think actually it's today on Wednesdays. It might be tonight at 9 o'clock. I believe that they do another Q&A for new members, which would be you. So Paul and Rohan, if you search them, you definitely want to follow them. I would say turn notifications on all the time with them. There's also been like a number of notable people on this platform, since it's opened up. There's been Bill Gates, there's been Elon Musk. There's been some substantial, folks that have come in and made some major contributions, along with a whole host of tech people that I think you're going to find value in. So back to my commentary on the moderation piece of it. There have been some people who've been basically using the moderator's badge as a bully pulpit. So basically, if they don't get what they want, as they say, they throw you down to the gulag, or they send you to the audience. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you demonstrate what that's like with the hand raising, and you're going to send me to the audience, and you're going to not hear me speak anymore, and you're going to also mute me because you have that power as a moderator.
Okay.
So you're going to mute me. So the first thing I'm going to have you do as soon as I'm done speaking is mute my mic so you can see that it'll, that I won't be able to respond. And sometimes that becomes necessary if things get unruly. Not typical if you're in the right rooms and you curate your hallway well, but sometimes that comes up. And then there's even sometimes you send people to the audience. Now there's also functionality that comes up where new people, and I realize that it didn't happen with you, so this is an interesting point. New people who come on a platform that you don't know, even if you're in rooms with people that you do know, right, will have this thing. It used to say report for trolling, but now it says report for disrupting the stage. So just to be clear, first things first is whoever invites you, you're attached to. So that's why people, and I say to everybody, whatever you do that's memorable will be unforgettable. So if you do stuff that's awesome, people are not going to forget it. If you do stuff that's horrible, they're not going to forget it either. And so you're tied to that person. So you want to make sure that you think about and know that in some cases, there's been cases where people's conduct has affected the person who invited them, because the idea is not to invite people who are going to be disruptive and cause issues. But my point about the disruption piece of it is, because I invited you and or know you and we follow each other immediately, we already follow each other, I didn't see that notification for you about disrupting. So apparently the app does know that you're a friend. Whereas I would be in rooms and the people are not being disruptive, but on the back end, the algorithm is actually has decided that you might be more likely to disrupt the platform just by virtue of being here early. So that might come up on your profile in rooms that you're in for the first time where other people don't know you. I don't know how it works because you don't know exactly what the algorithm does, but on some level, some of that I imagine is true, if that makes sense. Okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to mute me, and you're going to see how that works. And what I'm going to tell you what happens on my end, so that you just kind of have an understanding of it on both sides of the equation. So when you mute somebody, it will say you've been muted temporarily by a moderator. So it's not a permanent thing. It's not a permanent ban. But sometimes you need to get control of the room, and muting someone to be able to interject is sometimes helpful. Maybe you can salvage it from other than having someone removed. Now, if somebody does become disruptive, you can very simply press on their face before they go, and you can immediately report them. And there's a no tolerance policy for trolling and carrying on and making mess in this platform. It's just not. That's not something. And people have been suspended and things like that. Sometimes it depends. So the way it's been represented that it works is these conversations are not being recorded. This one is, and we've talked about that because I'm recording on Attention Live, but with permission. So you're allowed to record with permission as long as the person you're speaking to is given the permission to record, which is fine. We're in a private room. That's what it is. If you're in a public room, you usually there's a red dot that you put up at the top of the room that says this room is being recorded, and anyone who comes up to speak, you let them know that the room is being recorded. That's what it is. And as I've been in the rooms where they give out the NFT tokens, usually they usually include that information in there as well to just let people know. It's only the courteous and right thing to do, because generally speaking, these rooms are not recorded. At least it's not saved according to the platform. However, the way it works is they keep a siloed recording somewhere that is only for, a review team. So in the event that there's disruption reported, the review team can go in, figure out what the disruption is. If there's no disruption, it just automatically gets deleted if no one reports anything, if that makes sense. So that's how that works. All right. So what I want you to do is, you're going to mute me. I'm going to get a little notice that says, been muted. And when you put me down to the audience, you'll see me just down there, and then I'll raise my hand, and then you can bring me up. And then I'm going to show you what the reverse of that looks like, so you get a full understanding of what that is. So you can go ahead at any point and do that.
Now, I mute you by clicking on your avatar or by hitting the raise hand?
No, you tap on my avatar, and then it'll say you'll be able to mute. That's one other thing I should note. Like, and this is super important. Whenever you're invited up to speak, and you'll see in a minute, right? You come in and your mic's hot. So they were supposed to do this already. They people have been asking because it just makes sense. Like, because you're coming up and your mic's hot, the first thing you want to do is mute yourself. If you're not speaking, you should mute yourself. That's just kind of like, don't leave it to chance. It's kind of like turning on your turn signal if you know you're going to be turning. Don't second guess it. Just mute yourself. Because sometimes there's background noise, there's other things, and the last thing you want to be is disruptive. I will say on the other end, and this is just a pet peeve of mine. Like I don't think that and I don't know that moderators usually understand how it could affect or how it's received on the other end, even if you're not the person doing it. Calling someone out for having their mic on, and it can happen to anybody, as opposed to just going and gently muting their mic. That to me feels like the better thing to do, because sometimes you get someone speaking and you'd be like, "Oh, Jem, can you mute your mic?" And like, what do you like? That's not very nice. That's not what's gonna like move the needle. I'm not saying that it just doesn't come across good to people in the audience, and I've seen it happen a couple of times. Whereas when a simple mute, the person gets a notification, they may not even know that their mic is on, or they might have hit the button. It happens. The other thing is, to mute yourself, you have to understand it's not clicking your avatar, it's clicking the microphone button in the lower right-hand corner.
Yeah, understood.
Which at the beginning, you keep clicking your face and you're like, I'm muting without it. So, so that I'm saying, because I'm guilty as charged, raising my hand. So that's kind of what that is. All right, so go ahead and do that, and then send me, you'll see the mute, and you'll see me come up as mute. And then you'll send me down to the audience. I'll raise my hand, and then you'll see what it's like when someone wants to come up on stage. So, go.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, now I'm muted, and I took a screenshot, so I'll send that to you. You can't hear me, but okay. And now I'm unmuted. I took a screenshot of that, so you'll see. I'll send it to you, so you'll see what that looks like on the other end. And now just send me down to the audience. Send me to the gulag.
All right, here we go.
Okay. And now I've been sent to the gulag, or down to the audience. And now I'm gonna raise my hand. Okay. And now and I'm back.
Very nice.
So I took a bunch of screenshots, so I'll text you those when I'm done, so you can kind of see what that's like. But you're going to experience it firsthand. But I just want some of the visuals for when this